Hey everybody, how's it going? Joe's Neon here, just checking in with you. Wanted to bring you a quick video on how I make my own natural woodland incense. Um, I'd have to say that probably 99.9% of the folks that are watching this video love the smell of a campfire. Now you can bring that odor right inside your home with this simple method of making incense. Check it out. Okay folks, so here we are. We're going to make up some of this incense. It's really simple to make. It's 3 ingredients. It's your natural resource, whatever you want to use. And let's talk about that for 1 minute. Natural resources that you can use, you can grind up anything as long as you can get it to a fine enough powder. And that's what I use this for, this magic bullet here. You got to get it to a really nice fine powder. If it's a little bit coarse, it'll still work. It just won't burn as even, and it'll burn really fast. Okay, so we like to, render down whatever we're going to be using as a medium. What can you use? Today I'm going to be working with some cedar, aromatic red cedar. Okay, where do I get it? I've got a friend that's got a wood shop. He happened to be planing down some boards and he said, do you want some aromatic red cedar shavings? And I said, absolutely, that'd be great. And they're perfect for this, okay? You can also use, these are balsam shavings, okay? From white balsam. And this is really nice too. Again, it's going to be processed down the same exact way, okay? I also use sage. You can order sage online in a raw form, desert sage. It's great. Grind it down to a super fine powdered form. It's really nice with the cedar. Sage and cedar is really nice. Also, after you're done making your tea, dry out your chaga. Once it's no good for making tea anymore, this is fantastic. Take that and grind that into a really fine powder. It'll look like this. Almost looks like hot cocoa. Powdered hot chocolate. You know what I mean? But this is fantastic. The chaga it just smells like birch bark. It's amazing. I love it. And you can mix that with you can mix it with the sage, or I'll buy bulk dried rosemary, and I'll grind that into a fine powder. Okay, so those are the types of mediums that I'll be working with. All right, basically is the chaga, rosemary, sage, cedar, balsam. Now the type of incense I'm making is a cone incense, but it's a cone incense that's called a backflow incense because, okay, here's what you're going to end up with. These beautiful little cones. It's a backflow because it's got a hole up through the bottom of it. And that's what causes the smoke not only to come off the top, but flow down out the bottom, which is just incredible, as you've seen with that beautiful incense burner that Sandy got me, which is a backflow incense burner. But we'll put these right over here for now. And so let's get to it. Yeah, this is simple, folks. All right, I got to get a little glass here. Okay, your ingredients are going to be water, and I use cold water. See, I just got a big shot glass, is all. And you need a binder. You need something that's going to keep it together, glue everything together, okay? So you use a gum. This is an all-natural, made from a tree. This is a guar gum, okay? You can use a, what's the other one called? I don't know. There's a bunch of gums out there, but if you go to a natural health food store, even in the grocery store in your baking aisle, you can find gums. It's a thickening agent. It's used to thicken sauces and whatever, and it's also used in candy making too. So, yeah, gum is something you're going to need because we're going to mix that in the water, and that's what's going to keep everything together. It's going to glue our solution together, okay? So, what we're we're going to need here. Now, I like to use a really tiny, this is a 1/8 teaspoon measuring cup for the gum to make my solution. And now, when I measure out my mixtures of whatever I want to make, I make it the total of 6 teaspoons. Okay, so if I'm gonna do a sage and cedar, if I'm gonna do just those 2 things, I'll use 3 teaspoons of each, which will total 6 teaspoons. Okay, and I'll show you that because that makes about a dozen cones. All right, let me get a little mixing bowl here. We're gonna need. Okay, now here's what we do. Whoop. We just take our shavings. Let me just turn this camera just a little bit here. All right, we take our shavings. Okay, here's what we're left with. See this really super fine dust? Okay? That's what we're looking for. Alright? Now, what I'm going to do is, these incense I'm going to do cedar and sage, but I want to do more cedar than sage. So I'm going to do 5 teaspoons of the cedar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll take our sage that we ground up, and again we ground the sage exactly the same way. Okay, the processing is the same. Okay, here's our sage. Okay, now what we got here is we've got our dry mixture. Okay, now what we got to do is we got to mix. We have to mix in a binder that is going to make everything stick together, and that's really simply done with the gum here. This the other gum I was thinking was gum Arabic. If you can find it, that works great too. But I like to add tiny amounts to this because you don't want it to thicken too fast. Okay, you want it to be syrupy but not a gel. Okay, I'll start with 2, and that's usually pretty good. Okay, can you see that okay? We're just going to get that mixed right in there. See, it's already getting gel-like. It's already becoming, you know, a little bit gel-like. We need to add a little bit more. I think that's going to do it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We've got it about a syrupy thickness now. Okay? I'm just going to let this sit for a minute, and we'll come back. I'm going to put some gloves on. We'll mix this up and start shaping it into the cones. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start adding this. It's got a little bit thicker than I usually like, but that's okay. Let me get a little mixer here, and we're just going to start making a dough is what we're looking for. It'll start clumping together, which is just what we want. We might have to make a little bit more gum, but I think we're going to have enough here. Yeah, that's what you want. You want to start seeing it clump. Alright? Whoop. And then eventually you want to just get your hands in there and really start working that into a dough is what you're looking for. See, when you can pack it together like this, it's actually a little bit dry yet. Work it. Okay, so this is what we're left with here. Okay, it should be like Play-Doh, that kind of consistency. It's good to let it sit. I really want to stress though, it's really important to really mix it, hand knead it really good. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention is another really easy way to obtain aromatic red cedar is you can go to any pet center and they sell it as shavings for, hamster containers, or mice or whatever. Now what I'll do is I'll just take a piece of this here and just start shaping it into a cone form. Okay, now here's where we take a bamboo skewer and we put a hole right up through it. Okay, now when you make these, they're going to look like they're a little bit big, but they're going to dry and shrink. So keep that in mind. Okay? Get it nice and shaped like that. There you go. You got a cone. Let's do another one. Okay? I don't really, pay a whole lot of attention to making them all the same size. I make small ones, big ones, whatever. The key thing in this process is the drying. You gotta really let these things dry. And I mean, if you're gonna be room temperature, they're gonna have to dry for at least 3 days. Okay? And that's what you do. You just keep making cones. Don't get frustrated. Take your time. If the stuff wants to fall apart, you probably didn't use enough gum. And you'll find that. They're not all going to work out perfect. That's just, it's like they say, it's not a perfect world, right? Yeah, all right. So here's another one. Okay. Push it down a little bit, make it flat so it'll stand up. And there you go. Just keep making cones. Okay, we're down to the last cone here. Like I said, take your time when you're doing this. Don't get frustrated. Put some tunes on, and just enjoy it. Take time with each cone. They'll come along nice. They're gonna try and want to crack on you and whatnot, but you don't want them over gooey. They'll take forever to dry and they really won't burn right, So this last one's gonna be a biggie, but like I said, they will shrink. Okay, they're gonna shrink. So out of that batch with 6 teaspoons total of material, we've got 5? We got 10 cones. So next step, we're gonna let these dry. Like I said, you're gonna want to let these cones dry for 3 days. Really let them dry. Okay, next thing I'll show you is how we light them up and enjoy them. All right, folks, I saved these silicone packets. You get them in luggage, you get them in all kinds of things, just to keep things dry. It keeps the moisture out. It's great for the incense cones. All right, these ones here happen to be cedar, sage, and chaga. These ones here are cedar and sage, and I just put them in different bags. This is fantastic. Chaga and sage, man, yum. Really beautiful scents. This is chaga and cedar. All right. So we do one of the ones that we made here, which is the cedar and sage. So you can see that when they dry, they shrink considerably. Okay, we just take a lighter. Again, Sandy bought me this beautiful backflow incense burner for the holidays, and I just absolutely love it. And you want a flame to be able to continue like that on the top.